Public Services and Procurement Canada, in partnership with Parliament, is carrying out our country's largest heritage restoration project ever, and one of the largest undertaken globally, the Parliamentary Precinct. The objective: to preserve this majestic piece of our nation's history for generations to come, and to modernize it to meet the evolving needs of a modern parliamentary democracy. Over the past several years, we've completed a number of key projects to restore and modernize historic buildings in and around Parliament Hill, including the Library of Parliament, the Sir John A. Macdonald and Wellington buildings, as well as the West Block and the Senate of Canada building. These projects not only restored important heritage buildings for parliamentary use, but they enabled us to get to the precinct's crown jewel, the Centre Block. After carefully decommissioning the building, major work launched this year on the Centre Block. The project will restore this beautiful and elegant building. It will also ensure it is supported by modern systems and that it is greener, safer, and more accessible. Let's take a look at some of the work we've accomplished so far. The modernization of the Centre Block includes the construction of the Parliament Welcome Centre, which expands on the initial phase that opened in 2019. To prepare for its construction, the historic Vaux Wall was carefully catalogued, dismantled, and stored for safekeeping so it can be reinstated in the location where it stood before. Excavation is already underway and is expected to finish in 2022. Approximately 50,000 truckloads of bedrock will be removed by the end of excavation, of which approximately 5,000 truckloads have been removed so far. Before controlled blasting and rock excavation began, more than 300 devices to closely monitor vibration were installed in a number of buildings within the Parliamentary Precinct, including the Centre Block and the Peace Tower. Once completed, the Parliament Welcome Centre will link the West, East, and Centre Blocks into an integrated parliamentary complex and improve security on Parliament Hill. It will also offer a curated visitor experience with expanded opportunities for the visiting public, including school children, to engage on the important role of Parliament. It will also provide additional space for parliamentary functions. While the beautiful Library of Parliament had to be closed because of the major construction, all of its collections have been carefully moved, and parliamentarians continue to have access to these valuable resources. Even before starting the major construction work, significant effort was required to take the Centre Block off the parliamentary grid to remove all IT, electrical, and mechanical systems. For the duration of the project, temporary systems are in place to ensure power is supplied and temperature and humidity levels can be regulated to protect the building's heritage fabric. A major part of the modernization aspect of the project will be to integrate new and modern systems to meet Parliament's 21st century operational needs and to transform it into a carbon-neutral facility. Fire safety and prevention during construction has always been a priority, especially for irreplaceable heritage buildings, but has become top of mind following the devastating fire of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France in 2019. Typical fire alarms are not useful in construction sites because the dust caused by construction activity constantly sets them off. Instead, we have installed a sensitive cabling system that is set off by heat. In the Senate and House of Commons chambers, lasers are also employed to monitor smoke. Inside the Centre Block, demolition and abatement of hazardous materials is underway to take the building down to its bones. Making our way up to level 6, you'll see we've completed demolition and abatement work. Rows of offices once stood along this corridor. Now it is a blank canvas as workers prepare to solidify the structure, integrate new building systems, and rebuild modern office spaces. The walls and floors were stripped back to the bricks and terracotta tiles. Wood and marble have been carefully removed, crated, and stored so that it can be later reinstated. Finding the right balance between heritage protection and modernization is one of the greatest complexities of this project. Preparation and the right expertise are key. We have drawn upon expertise and lessons learned from our previous rehabilitation projects, such as the restoration of the West Block and Ottawa's former Union Station, now the Senate of Canada building. Careful thought has been put into assessing the numerous heritage assets and deciding if it was better to remove or protect them in their place. We also had to find a way to track and document everything so that it can all be put back together. To help keep track of all these assets, high heritage rooms have been digitally scanned and mapped to allow for the virtual recreation of these spaces. Known as BIM, these models not only serve as a record of the heritage elements, but are essential tools in the design process. Some of the Centre Block's most precious heritage assets can be found in two of the building's centerpiece spaces, the Senate and the House of Commons chambers. Ley lights and heritage lighting have been removed in the Senate foyer and the House of Commons foyer, as well as in the Memorial Chamber. Inside the Senate, two massive cast bronze chandeliers, weighing more than 3,400 pounds each, were carefully dismantled before being lowered to the chamber floor. A number of stained glass windows have also been carefully removed, including the Senate's Diamond Jubilee window, as were all the Memorial Chamber stained glass windows. Intricate work was done by experts to also remove the stunning House of Commons Truth and Reconciliation window and place it in storage. In the House of Commons chamber, experts carefully removed the painted linen ceiling and rolled its panels up for protection prior to undergoing a careful conservation process so that it can take its pride of place once again in the future. On the Senate side of the building, murals by Italian artist Attilio Prestula have been taken down and carefully stored until they are ready to return to Centre Block. 8 monumental war paintings have also been removed from the Senate chamber and are now in safekeeping at the National War Museum. Plaster ceilings and carvings are too delicate to be removed. After stripping the paint, conservators have created molds and have protected them on site prior to being carefully restored. As the seat of our democracy and the home of some of Canada's most important buildings, it is our duty to give the parliamentary buildings the respect and care they deserve. The work being undertaken in Canada's parliamentary precinct is being recognized as some of the most important work happening in Canada, and indeed globally. This work is a top priority for Public Services and Procurement Canada, and the partnership with Parliament is essential to get it right for Parliament and for Canada. There is so much work ahead, and we are committed to working hand in hand with Parliament and ensuring that parliamentarians are engaged in the work ahead. Together, we will deliver a modern building to house Parliament, one in which Canadians can continue to take pride.